This episode of the Sillycast is brought to you by Australia. It's a country and a continent. How do they do it? I wonder how many people I lost just for doing that.
At least the viewers in Australia.
Maybe. I love Australia. Well, there's a theme song. Welcome to another episode of the Sillycast, the only podcast on the internet that I will occasionally introduce with a fake accent. My name is Tomahawk, and I am your host. This is the show where we take any topic and then just make it so dang silly. You just squeeze it until all the silly juice is out of it. That's what this show is. I'm going to sneeze. I can feel the sneeze coming. Okay, it's gone. All right. And I think that's a decent introduction to who I am as a person. And joining me today is one of the first guests we had on this show. It's Jenna. Hi, Jenna.
Hello. I'm back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
At least a year, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So I looked it up earlier today, and you were a guest on episode 17 of this podcast. Now,
and what episode are we on now?
If you were a good friend, you would know that.
You're right.
We are nearing episode 70 at time of recording.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, according to my Spotify podcast listens, you're my favorite podcast.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
A little sad, but cool on the whole. All right. So for anyone who is not aware of what episode Jenna was on before, Jenna, you are a furry, yes?
Yep.
You can wear that badge with pride here on the Sillycast.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a painful one.
Is it though? Like, I understand society is trying to, sort of discourage you from doing this. But honestly, I'm just happy that you're happy and having fun.
Thanks. Me too.
Man, that felt disingenuous, didn't it?
I could be wearing the Nobel Peace Prize, but instead it's the furry badge. So,
I mean, you'd have to work to get a Nobel Peace Prize, and let's not kid ourselves. It's probably pretty easy to get that furry badge of honor, isn't it? Or dishonor. Yeah.
Yeah, dishonor, I would say. Yeah.
All right. So if you don't know what a furry is, you can go listen to that episode of the podcast. Also, I have a short documentary, I guess is what it would be called. It's a short little informational video of what a furry is here on the channel. I'll try to remember to insert a link to it now. I think it worked.
Yeah.
Or it didn't.
It's right there.
Yep. So, Jenna, you are on the Sillycast today to help me answer some big questions. For instance, one of the biggest questions we got is Batman a furry? He's a grown man who dresses up like an animal and then runs around and meets up with other people who dress like animals. Is Batman a furry?
I mean, Batman didn't really, I mean, it's easy to assume that he is a furry, mainly because of his lack of loving parents throughout most of his life. I would say that, his social skills also aren't the greatest. I think. Let
me ask you this: which Batman are you thinking of when you think of Batman?
I don't know. The Dark Knight specifically.
The Dark Knight? Okay. Yeah. That's a fine answer. That's a fine version of Batman. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't know if there is a wrong version of Batman to choose from.
No.
The best Batman isn't Kevin Conroy. It's Will Arnett. It's Lego Batman.
Lego Batman? Oh, yeah. That one's probably the most furry, I would say.
He's up there for sure. He never takes off. He keeps the mask on as much as he can. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, this is who I am for real.
Yeah, real.
Yeah. There's a scene where Alfred has to be like, sir, we're going to a party. You have to take off your bat mask. And he's like, I don't want to, but fine.
That's how it is.
Yeah. So that's kind of a quick peek into what we're going to be discussing today, which is which superheroes are furries? There's a lot of animal-based superpowers and people who decide to name themselves after animals. Right?
Yeah.
Catwoman. Yeah, that's definitely one.
Oh, it paused.
It sure did.
Yeah.
We're back. We'll be right back. So yeah, Catwoman. If anything, if Batman's not a furry, she definitely is.
Oh, because have you seen the woman?
Have I seen the woman?
Yeah.
Which
the Catwoman? The Catwoman.
Oh, you're talking Halle Berry, like the movie Catwoman?
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it. I've never been able to sit through the whole thing.
I've seen that gif where she licks Batman like up the face.
Oh, you're talking about Batman Returns.
Yeah, that one. I was like,
Yeah, Catwoman has appeared in a few different movies over the years. She was in Batman 1989. I believe she's also in the Adam West Batman movie, carried over from the show. She is in the Dark Knight trilogy, played by Anne Hathaway. And there is the movie with Halle Berry, where she plays a really butchered version of Catwoman. It's not even really the same character. It's just a lady who has cat powers. She's definitely a furry. She acts like a cat all the time, eats cat food and drinks. Honestly, does that go beyond furry? Or are there furries who do that? What's the line? What's the criteria that we're looking for here?
I would say there's I personally don't associate with any furries that eat cat food in their free time.
Okay.
Maybe, but there's always a little
something,
a little razzle dazzle in there.
A little razzle dazzle. So, all right. So let's set these boundaries for what specifically would make a character a furry versus what isn't a furry. Because just because a character has an animal or whatever in their name doesn't mean that they're a furry. For instance, I wouldn't consider Spider-Man a furry. He's named after an animal, but he doesn't even look like a spider. He's just in a weird spandex suit. He's like, I got spider powers, so I call myself Spider-Man. That's very different,
I would say Spider-Man is forced spider upon him because of the bite. I would say let's classify furry as they could have picked something else,
so they could have chosen something else.
Yeah. Okay. So for instance, Peter Parker, he was just Spider-Man, and that's how his name makes sense,
Yeah.
But Batman, he could have been something else.
Yeah. He really just chose the bat thing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, people who are furry, like Beast from X-Men, he has no choice in the matter. He isn't a furry. It's not even a specific animal.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think we found our criteria. You ready to jump into more? Do you want to circle back to Batman?
We can go further.
Okay, sure. Let's dive in.
We can always circle back to Batman whenever we're feeling like it.
He feels like an easy target.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So I do want to talk about some more of the Marvel characters. Spider-Man's rogues gallery in particular. There's a lot of animal-based people in that. The Lizard. You got Dr. Octopus. You got Scorpion. You got Rhino. Are you familiar with all of these? It's okay if you're not.
A couple. Like Rhino, you lost me a little bit, but Dr. Rock and a couple others I know.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the lizard? He was in the Amazing Spider-Man. He was in the first Andrew Garfield movie.
I have to Google him briefly.
No worries. I'll just talk about his backstory real fast.
Wonderful.
He's a scientist. His name is Dr. Curtis Connors. And Kurt Connors. I always get him and Curtis Connor confused, the YouTuber. Like, I was well aware of the Spider-Man character before the YouTuber guy. And even now that I've mentioned both of them in the same thought, I'm not going to be able to keep them straight. He's a scientist. He's lost an arm and he goes, lizards can regrow limbs. So he does some research into lizards and then he becomes a lizard, just a giant lizard man in a white lab coat. That's a pretty cool look.
I would say it's pretty on par with furries. Like, I know a couple furries that, like, if they had the option to, they would, and it was socially accessible, they would like to become their persona.
Like, in this universe, I don't know if furries exist, technically speaking, in the Marvel universe. I've never seen anything about them, but I think it's a possibility, especially since there's so much scientific advancement that they can make themselves into an animal. It's confusing. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say, especially like in the MCU, video movies.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
Like all the pop culture references, and a lot of the Tom Holland movies and everything, and Black Panther, and when he appears in that, and where especially like the youth culture appear in those movies, I think furries like definitely like are established. And like Peter Parker probably knows a furry and saved him from getting bullied once.
I bet it's the girl who's in I think she's in Endgame. She walks by him and she's wearing like a sort of spider outline. It's like a spider web design on her skirt, and people like latched on to this. It was just an extra walking on the set, and they were like, no. She's wearing a spider web pattern. This is Gwen Stacy. The internet can be so dumb sometimes. So where did we land on that? So the lizard. Yes. Lizard is a furry.
Oh yeah. Confirmed.
Well, a scaly.
Yeah. A scaly. Yeah.
Which we learned last time, scalies and furries apparently have some level of animosity towards each other. At least Jenna does. Right, Jenna?
I would.
Well, go ahead.
Well, snakes specifically. I've grown. My character arc has peaked a little bit, and I've accepted dragons and a couple of those things. Snakes, still a little iffy on. Don't know if I'll ever get past that.
Hey, understandable. I'm not here to judge. That I'm here to make things silly. That's all I'm here for.
Wonderful.
That's the name of the show. All right, so. I want to move on to another Spider-Man villain. We're just going to cycle through these real fast. Dr. Octopus. I don't think he's a furry. Like, he doesn't have like an octopus gimmick. Like, aside from the name Dr. Octopus, there's nothing really like octopusy about him.
Yeah.
He's just a man with extra metal limbs.
Yeah. I would say no.
Yeah.
Not a furry.
Like, for instance, the lizard, he like has minions of like alligators sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see Dr. Octopus like having minions of octopodes. That's a throwback reference to the podcast. Cool. So Dr. Octopus, not a furry. Okay. Scorpion. He's just a guy that dresses up like a scorpion. Yep. He's a furry.
Oh yeah, we're just people that dress up like animals. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Like, I don't even think he has powers. I don't know a lot about Scorpion, but people might come after me for that. I think he's just a guy in a suit.
He probably has like something like integrated with the suit that makes him like a supervillain.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll find out eventually, or we won't. Vulture, furry or no?
Vulture.
If he's a furry, he's an older furry.
I'm having to Google some of these just from the initial look.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Vulture, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming. He was Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah. I would say...
Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say like borderline furry. Like more like he takes commissions in the fandom, but he's not really a part of the fandom. Like he just wants to make profit off of it, off of like making cool wings and other like design aspects of people's fursuits. Interesting.
Does he make fursuits for other people? Because he's kind of a scavenger as a character. Just kind of taking what he can get, and then like in the movies at the very least, he's selling what he finds. Is that what his kind of role is?
Definitely, man. Yeah.
So Vulture, maybe TBD. That I do have a quick question. Again, Vulture is he's an older man. What is the oldest furry you've come into contact with? What is their age?
There's a lot I know that are in their like upper 30s. I know there's like the beginning furries are like ancient, like 78 years old right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting to me.
Oh yeah. It mainly started off as like comics, and like when the internet really wasn't a thing or anything, they would all they made these like animal cartoons.
Yeah.
And they would people would send their comics out to different people, and like they would write comments on it and stuff.
That's cool.
And yeah, and
that really ties into what we're doing here, isn't it?
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. Tomahawk's brain. Wheels are going. Are you ready?
Going. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So, do we want to dip over to DC for a little bit, or we want to continue on our Marvel train? It doesn't really matter. Just make a choice.
We can switch over to DC for a brief minute, as there was something I wanted to mention.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go ahead and mention it?
Sure. So we said that the Octopus Man,
Dr. Octopus,
Dr. Ock, yeah, he was
Ock, if you like.
Yeah, he was not a furry, but he did have the little minions, right?
I don't think he has the minions. I've never seen. Was
that the lizard man?
Lizard has like alligator minions sometimes.
Okay, so from that same perspective, would you consider Aquaman a furry?
That is tough, because he, at the same time, he doesn't really have any choice in the matter. He was born basically part fish, you know? Yeah. Unlike, compared to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, I just got bit by a spider, so I'm Spider-Man. He's just like, I got ocean power, so I'm Aquaman. And to his credit, he doesn't call himself Fishman. He's Waterman. He is the adult version of the Water Boy.
Yeah.
So we need to keep that in mind. He can communicate to fish, but he doesn't ever claim to be a fish. So I vote no.
I think you're the Aquaman of our relationship.
In that I suck?
No, and that you communicate with the fish being furries.
Okay.
Furry being...
I understand now.
Yeah.
I don't like Aquaman.
That movie really... really stink.
I really like the old cheesy Aquaman stuff, but like back in the 90s, they're like, no, we need to make Aquaman cool. And they tried too hard to make him cool. And I just think it's a little cringy at the just the intensity that they're like, no, we're going to give him long hair and give him a hook hand and like trying to make him something that I'm like, I like old cheesy Aquaman stuff.
Yeah.
Silly goose. Yeah. So Aquaman, not a furry. I don't know if I did that. And if I did it already, I'll cut it out. Yeah. And if I didn't, I'll cut out the bit where I said I'll cut it out, or I won't. Did I?
It's for you to find out.
Yep. We'll see what happens in the edit. Okay. So onwards, upwards. Here we go. The Penguin from Batman. Is he? What do you think? I'm going to say, on the whole, he's just a big guy who waddles around, and that doesn't seem like a furry thing to do. But he does get minions of penguins, and so that puts him in the middle, sort of maybe pile for me. I don't know what to do with him.
I would initially say no, but yeah, I would say no.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel in character for him.
Mm-hmm. But maybe he could become a furry someday,
as we all can.
Yeah, like the Danny DeVito version of the Penguin. He's a little bit closer to a furry than all the other iterations of him, I think, are. Because he's just a weird animal monster man. But most of the time, he's not like that. He's just a guy with an umbrella. Okay. I want to dip back over to Marvel because there's this one I really want to talk about. I don't think he's a furry.
Are you about to say Black Panther?
It's Wolverine.
Wolverine?
Yeah. It's an animal, but his suit doesn't look anything like actual Wolverine's. Now, when it started, a little closer, but I don't see it. Howeverist, I do think that Wolverine is a textbook. Here's an edit point. However, I do think that Wolverine is a textbook weeaboo. He loves Japan. He's an old, in the movie Logan, he has like a freaking samurai sword hung up in his room. And I'm like, buddy, come on.
Oh, let him live. Let the weeaboo live.
I'll try, but he kind of dies at the end of that movie. Spoilers for that movie that's been out for almost 4 years now. Yeah. Any thoughts on whether or not he's a furry? Do you want to try and sway me?
I mean, he's got the full suit down, basically. He just needs to cover his little arm bits. Look at that. He even has like fursuit claws.
He does have claws.
Yeah.
But that is kind of inside his body now. Fun fact, that wasn't canon for a long time. People didn't know what the deal was with his claws. They were just like, he had a mysterious backstory. He has claws. Sometimes it was kind of implied that they were in the gloves. And sometimes it was like, nope, they're in him, but they were like implants from a previous thing. So if you read any Wolverine comics before his origin came out, which was pretty late in the day, I want to say it was in the 2000s. I don't know if that's accurate. He just doesn't have claws in those older stories. And it's sillier in retrospect because they just let him have it the whole time anyway. So it's just him actively choosing not to utilize a superpower of his.
Interesting.
Come on, guys, pull yourselves together.
Right, a little butter.
So Wolverine, furry? Yes or no? You're the expert.
No.
Wolverine, not a furry, but a weeaboo? Yes.
Yeah. It's referenced in the fandom that like he's a furry, but I would say no.
Yeah. Now going on your suggestion, Black Panther. He basically comes from a country of furries, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like everybody's worshiping the Panther goddess. It's kind of a lot. He's got a whole family line of furries. Is that what you want your family to be like? Do you want to be Black Panthers? Do you want to be Black Panthers?
I would love to be a Black Panther.
Ooh. Energy drinks are fun. All right, so Black Panther, furry, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are gonna get mad at me because
this is too soon.
I mean, we're not talking about any particular version of the Black Panther.
You're right.
All right. Comics Black Panther, furry.
Yeah.
We're not discussing the MCU Black Panther. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Rip. Moment of silence.
Not gonna lie. I can't do a moment of silence. I'm not physically capable of doing that. I'm sorry. I would if I could, but I can't. When I found out about Chadwick, I sat in my bathroom and I just cried.
Yep.
Like, it's not fair. You were in the group chat, right?
Oh yeah.
That night,
I watched everything.
I lost it.
Yeah.
Like, I was sending a bunch of messages to you guys that were just like, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Bad times.
Really took some stuff from us.
It really did. That was a really big blow. But this is the silly cast, not the sad cast, sad cast.
We gotta pull ourselves together for the audience.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get back to talking about the silliness of furries. Okay. Let's go look a bit more in the other Avengers. So Falcon. Is Falcon a furry?
Falcon.
Now, I think that the versions of Falcon that we're going to be discussing are rather important. The comics version of Falcon is definitely different to the movie version of Falcon. For instance, it definitely looks like most of the time the comic Falcon suit has feathers. Yeah. Also, he is able to talk to birds. And the movies, they were like, that's too silly. We'll give him drones and we'll act like they're birds. And they kind of gave him a sort of utilitarian sort of looking suit. It looks like it could actually be useful in a fight. The comics outfit, much less so.
Nah, yeah. He looks a little vulnerable in those.
So I say MCU Falcon? No. Comics Falcon? Yes.
Yes.
What? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. His wings were made by who did we say made the fursuit things?
Vulture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Absolutely. His wings were made by Vulture.
I love to see Vulture and Falcon get into a fight at some point in the MCU.
Yeah, bird fight.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Feather fight.
Yeah.
Are bird furries called featheries, or are they just also furries?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've yet to figure that out. I know they exist, but like,
I highly doubt that there is an original furry out there. Like, there's like one person who's one particular animal, or let alone like, what's that called? Like the name of like mammals and whatnot. You know what I'm saying, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, so a mammal is a type of animal. A reptile is a type of. These things are different. It doesn't matter. I'll cut this bit. Or I won't. We'll see. Let's see what editor Tomahawk does. Okay. Onwards. On we go. Black Widow, furry or no? She's just a lady, doesn't have any spider things going on.
No.
It's just that she's venomous, I think is the whole point. She has her little venom bite stinger things.
She's not no.
I don't think that's what they're called, but that's all my brain can give me right now. So yeah, Black Widow, not a furry.
No.
I'm looking around at all the superheroes I got in my room. Do you have any off the top of your head?
I had one, but I forgot about it.
Rocket Raccoon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Do you have you seen how much Rule 34 has about him?
But by our own rules, he doesn't have a choice in the matter. So I don't think he is a furry. He's a furry icon. He's an icon for furries, but he himself, not a furry. It's like the animals in Zootopia. They're not furries.
He would feel right at home at a furry convention. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure he would. He doesn't seem to like people though, so I don't know how well that's going to go over. All right. I do have an interesting one. Winter Soldier. Currently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he has been given the name White Wolf, which is new for the character. At least in the comics, it hasn't happened before. So White Wolf, is he going to be a furry? Maybe. So Winter Soldier's a maybe. Yeah.
We'll see.
To be determined. Okay. I think that's it. I think we got all the big ones anyway. And if not, we can have you come back on. No problem. God. No worries. Is this a punishment? Is this something? Have you not been having a fun time?
I have to think about others. How about
yes.
There has to be characters we're not thinking of. Maybe okay.
How about other Spider-Man? Miles Morales.
Miles Morales? No.
Okay. Miles Morales.
But Peter.
Not a furry.
Peter Borger? Absolutely.
Again, he doesn't have a choice in the matter.
You're right.
So, icon? Sure. Not a furry. Because he was a spider bitten by a radioactive pig.
You're right.
He then turns into a pig.
Yeah.
Very, very silly things. How about I ask about 3 characters real fast, and then we'll wrap. Yeah, but these are not furries. At least not from what we have established. So what I think could be fun and would be fun to have you do on an upcoming episode of the podcast, if you're interested in coming back, is let's give some characters from some personas.
Oh, wow. I would love that. Sounds enjoyable.
For instance, I don't want to take up all the good ones right away. So if we want to come back to this, we can. But I definitely want to tackle Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and somebody else. How about just those 2 as a nice little sample?
Making their personas?
Oh, and Thor. We'll go Thor, Doctor Strange, and Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Got it. Okay, so we're making them personas?
We're making them personas real fast.
Okay.
I personally see Tony Stark as a badger, like a European badger.
Yeah. I could see him as a badger. For some reason, I see Doctor Strange more as a cat, more aloof, very laid back.
He's kind of cat-like, yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people on the internet like to imagine Benedict Cumberbatch as an otter. I don't see it.
An otter.
But I've seen people reference that before for sure.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And what about Thor?
Thor?
Yeah.
I would say he's a golden retriever, maybe.
Oh, really? I'm thinking some kind of large cat.
Large, like
like a lion, a tiger, a panther,
a panther.
A puma.
I would say I would classify Tony Stark more as like a big cat. I don't think Thor has like the big cat appeal to him.
Interesting. Because again, I'm just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
Now, is it because Tony Stark has like a sort of larger ego about himself that he would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he would be like the king of the jungle for sure.
But whereas Thor is a literal king, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't get to be a king of anything.
Yeah.
It's about being something you're not. I understand. Okay. And you know, we can come back and go more in depth with those in the future. I think we did it. We did it, Jenna. What a fun episode.
Hey.
Virtual high five. Nailed it. Did I add in a sound effect? I don't know.
That's for editor Tomahawk bedside.
Now, Jenna, I don't know if you remember this. There's a segment of the show where you get to give me a brand new Patreon tier.
Oh, wow. A Patreon tier.
Uh-huh. So you tell me how much a person pays, and then you tell them what dumb thing they get.
Okay.
Because I don't have a Patreon.
Okay. A Patreon tier.
If it ties into the topic of the episode, that's cool. If it doesn't, that's also fine. None of this matters.
Can it be $2?
Sure.
For the pack?
The pack.
Yeah.
Of
that's
what?
That's the it's just the pack, as in like a pack of wolves, you know?
So they're buying a pack of wolves.
Yeah, a whole pack.
Okay.
I mean that's the title.
All right, so that's the title. $2 a pack. Parentheses of wolves.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
All right. And is that literally what they get? They just get a pack of wolves?
Maybe that's like the description for it, but maybe actually they get like some bloopers or like unedited cuts or something.
Nope. I think it's better if it's just real wolves.
Okay.
I will send real life hungry wolves to your door.
Yeah,
for $2 a month.
For $2.
It's a recurring payment. If you don't pay me that $2 one month, I will go take my wolves back.
Yeah. Now, they're not happy to be taken back.
They might be. It depends on how well you feed them, etc., etc. And if you can train the wolves, you can sick them on your enemies. It'll be there's a lot you could do with wolves. What a fun Patreon segment. We did it. Jenna, is there anything you would like to plug? It could be something you got going on. It could be a charity. It could be an inanimate object. It could be a pet. What you got going on? What do you want people to know about? If you need a moment, take your time.
I was about to plug my like Fur Affinity account, but then I realized that's not a good idea at all.
Why isn't it?
It's like there's a lot of furry going on in there, Tomahawk.
That's fine. If there's anybody watching, let them know.
Okay, I'll plug my Twitter. Is that okay?
You can do both. Just plug both.
I don't. I'll just do my Twitter.
Jenna's gonna plug two things.
Two things. Okay. My Twitter.
Okay, which is
at Cyan Baying, SyanBaying.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to follow me there.
Cool.
And
what about if we have any furries in the audience? Is there anywhere they could like check out your stuff?
Any of my furry followers that love this content can find me on Fur Affinity by the same username.
Terrific.
That's my username across all platforms.
I love it. I love the synergy. I don't even have the same name on all platforms. I'm constantly thinking of changing things.
I like to keep it consistent.
I understand. That's probably a good choice. I bet you're doing much better than I am. Thank you for coming on. And
no problem.
I don't know what that was. All right. And thank you, dear viewer, for checking out this very silly episode of the Sillycast. This is a show that I do every week. If you like this, you might like to check out the extended audio version, which will be dropping the Wednesday after this comes out. It'll be available on all platforms. So Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever the other one is that I always forget. I always have to forget one. You can check it out there. Also, maybe on my YouTube channel. Maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know if you'd like to have just audio with waveforms jumping up and down. I think I might do that. We'll give it a shot. If you don't like it, let me know also. I will tackle any topic that you deem to be silly. So leave a comment below. Leave a topic. Did we get any of these characters wrong? Is someone that we said isn't a furry actually a furry, or vice versa? Comment below, let us know. And I will be sure to send all hate mail to Jenna. And it was at Twitter at what again? I'm sure you can find it in the description. It'll be fun. Please like this video. It helps keep this channel going. I don't have a super large audience right now. And but I think we're all having fun. What is happening? What a neat image. That's so neat. I love it. What am I looking at, Jenna?
It's a skateboarding bull terrier with sunglasses.
That's neat. I've never seen that before.
You never will again.
Ooh. I mean, you say that, but I'm going to have to edit this, so I'm definitely going to see that image again several times probably.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, subscribe. That was the next thing. I think that was all I had.
Nice.
Well, I guess that's it for this episode. Catch you next time, next week. I actually got more stuff to plug. I'm going to say more stuff until I feel like I've run out the clock.
Nice.
If you like this video, I'm going to edit this into something super coherent. You're not going to believe it.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to hear it.
All right. Also on this channel, I got a series where me and my buddy Stuart debate pop culture topics. Something that's definitely out right now is what is the best Batman gadget. We have covered what's the best Marvel Infinity Stone to wield. There's a lot of fun to be had over there. And the best part of that is if you check out that, the way you vote is by roasting the person you think lost, which I think is pretty fun. So be sure to check that out. It's called Tomahawk and Stew. I got some other stuff around here that you'll probably like. Just, poke around. And if you find something you don't like, just keep it to yourself. But if you find something you like, share it around. All right. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.